sports. They used to be Power Rangers. They were Arcade Power Rangers for a while, but yeah, they are just Arcade now. It makes me sad. And Team Alternate Attacks. The first game, I would say, was pretty good. Alternate were ahead, but with a little bit of a more unconventional draft, something that we love seeing. So I was excited. And yeah, we're going to be seeing whether Alternate will prevail or whether Arcade's going to force it to a game 3. As we talked about at the end of that game, you need a win, or they're out. Like, whoever loses this set is just right out, and both teams need to win here to be potentially in at all, because there's going to be tiebreakers. So, once again, I'm Llama Down Under. I'm joined by PqMz. How's it going?
Going well, and I'm actually really surprised ATN decided to ban out the Night Stalker with how well it went for them last game. It doesn't have to be their mid-hero still. I know they can play it on most roles.
It could be one of those things where they're saying, hey, we aren't going to pick it up, and we're pretty worried that our opponents will pick it up. So why don't we just make sure... Yeah.
But if they want to pick up like an Ember or a Quap first, then it makes sense to ban it out.
But this leaves so many things in the pool, because teams went with Bane. Yeah, I was about to mention here. Because they went with Bane, Night Stalker as their bans, and of course the IO, it means that Doom's in, Slaughter's in, there's stuff like Darkseer, the Undying, which seems to be prized in this region, and so on and so forth, so...
Yeah, there's actually a really wide range of options. I think like Tusk Slardar are two of the most important heroes. Slardar's probably one I'd like to grab the most if I had the option, just because, as I've said before, it enables a lot of your other cores to scale when they otherwise wouldn't. And it's also really good against Doom, who's a low armor hero.
Yeah, very true. So, nice little Dazzle coming out. See what else they got for us.
Standard hero.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, okay, yeah, it's minus armor. And even with this, you definitely were like, look, Doom doesn't start with much armor. Maybe they can take advantage of this. Let's be honest. Doom might just Scorched Earth and wander away, and then Alternate gets the, the whole, hey, we're going to make sure that we have a little bit of armor to deal with all of this business coming out from Arcade.
Yeah, it's a really standard opener when you can get the Doom. A lot of options to apply pressure, and Lich can be a similar thing to the Bane, where he just sits mid and helps your mid laner out, and then maybe transitions to the lane where he's most needed later.
Yeah.
There's options with the hero, which I feel like there weren't before. Teams have kind of explored him a tiny bit more than they used to.
Reserve time.
Yeah, so we're gonna be seeing ban out on the Wraith King. It's an obvious Doom counter, and we might even see, I don't believe Arcade has any games this patch on the Bearman. I can't. Lone Druid, there we go. My brain was breaking for a second.
I thought you were gonna say Ursa.
No. But no, Lone Druid and Wraith King kind of considered Doom counters, and it's something that we were seeing out of Alliance when they were letting teams get Doom, and then they were just like, it's fine. We're gonna pick Lone Druid, and you're gonna have to decide which of these you'd like to Doom, because we're both gonna be huge. So, it's certainly one way to deal with things, and it does look like, actually, as I say that, 3 Lone Druid games coming out of PR, all of which were wins on this patch.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen them play it before.
I don't know. They're certainly not, they don't have the Bulldog on their team. They're not gonna be known. It's hard to get known as well as the Bulldog for it, but we should have been queued off because Barish, his picture is a bear.
Yeah, true. Yeah. How could we not think of that?
We failed. Either way.
He's got to have the panda bear, though, if that's his icon. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a complete failure on his part. Yeah. But I doubt he'll get the hero of this game.
So we've also got the Windrunner ban out, obviously banned out because there's a Slaughter on the opposing side. Focus Fire plus amp damage. Windrunner's already a pretty strong hero. She does need quite a bit of time to ramp up. She needs Aghanims and usually something like that Chrysalis, at least a damage item, so that she can hit really hard. With amp damage, she can come online much, much faster.
Yeah, and she's a really annoying hero to lane against as well, so they banned that out. It's also really smart banning it out, because if they opted to take something else away and then Arcade decided to ban the Winter Wyvern, then they can get the Windrunner with kind of no expense.
And they go
There's
for
no
the
counters left.
Yeah, they go for the Phantom Lancer again. I'm a little surprised because I feel like he had a rough game last game, but maybe they're deciding, look, they haven't picked such a scary lane like the Undying and the Darks here, potentially, or, you know, they don't have an Undying here that's really gonna mess with his farm, but Lich will do that too. I mean, as Lich really only needs 2 points in that sacrifice, and you're denying almost a fourth of Phantom Lancer's potential farm.
Yeah, and Doom's still a really easy hero to apply pressure with. However, PL Dazzle's one of the better lanes at dealing with Doom just because you can doppelganger? Yeah, doppelganger into heal, and then the Doom's half dead already. So it's a lot of sense that they pick it up after banning the Ember as well, not wanting to give ATN the chance to maybe take the PL when they realize the counter's already banned out.
Yep.
But they go with the Invoker again for Supreme, who did a really good job on it the other day.
It was a pleasure to watch. They didn't win, but it was amazing. He got so much work done.
I love the hero. It's nice to see it again.
Yeah.
And I think it's not too bad this game because Slider's one of those heroes who likes to chase a lot, so does PL. And if you can catch them in Tornado EMPs, then they lose a lot of their mana and they can't do anything. It's also really good at finding out the Dazzle, stopping him, helping out any cores that are in danger.
100%. Now, Arcade, they have an opportunity to pick something else up here. I feel like Invoker can deal a bit with, you know, he has some illusion clear, so that's always nice. Usually the Tornado plus the EMP should wipe them all out, and it should help them as well with catching Phantom Lancer by surprise. They already have a defensive support on the Dazzle. Do you even try to go for something like the Wyvern as well, just to be super defensive? Now you've got this TA, you know, you got a minus armor strat going on. Do you go with Wyvern so that your cores can be super aggressive, or...
Or Arcade or ATN?
Arcade.
I think Arcade would probably adjust as to what ATN are doing right now. Because, as you said, they could go for something like the Wyvern. Would make a lot of sense. They could also go for something like Grasta to give them more tower pushing, more pick-off potential, which not the highest right now, but it's by no means bad, so they have a lot of options.
Yeah.
And this is something I was going to say, where if you pick the Invoker third, there is a lot of heroes that just demand help. Sorry, he's going to need a lot of help when he's playing against TA.
Oh yeah,
or
Invoker
many
loses
other
mid.
heroes.
Like...
yeah, and it's not just he loses it, he will literally not get a CS if the TA is on top of things.
Yeah.
Wyvern might kind of mess around with that a bit, but it's once, so maybe Invoker gets 4 creeps.
It's definitely something where folks...
Reserve time.
It does feel like Invoker needs a lot of help. If he goes the Exalt build, he can maybe have a better chance in lane, but we haven't been seeing that too much. I'm trying to remember how Supreme played him. I'm pretty sure it was Quas Wax both times.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And if you go Exalt to try and equalize for lane, you still die to TA at 6 without help, because you've got no way of... Unless you somehow manage to ice wall him off. I suppose you've got that option.
Now, they need, obviously, the well, okay, I'm assuming it's Doom, Lich offlane, one of those lanes which will really nerf the farm of the Phantom Lancer, so they might even dodge on Arcade. Team Alternate now need a super hard carry. Arcade, another support, probably one with good control as well, just to deal with the Invoker and Doom running their faces into people as the game progresses. I was gonna say maybe an Earthshaker, but I feel that's a little greedy for Arcade.
I think Venge would be a good hero. It gives them some CC. Yeah, okay, Rubik works as well. Easy ranged hero, gives you some defensive capabilities, and there's a lot of good spells to steal this game. Anything Invoker does is good. If you get Lich ulti, Wyvern ulti, or either of their nukes, and especially Doom, there's lots of good stuff going on. And this gives them a potential as well to go for an aggressive lane and put Slardar against the potential dual lane of Doom Lich. Even if it's just against the Doom, I think he does fine in that lane.
Yeah. He
and
can
ATN
always...
don't have a strong tri-lane right now.
Slaughter does fine until the Doom hits 6, and that's really all you can ask for. So, now, Alternate, maybe just anti-mage again if you're feeling confident. It's a bit scarier here with so much minus... Oh, obviously also banned out. I'm really smart, guys. But it's scarier, I think, a lot of the hard carries left in the pool because of the minus armor coming out from Arcade and the fact that they will have gap close. So if you went for one of those ranged heroes, it's still things getting up in your face. Do you have a preference?
I could see Sven, maybe. It gives you really good PL clear, gives you some way to help against the minus armor. Only downside is there's a lot of stuff to steal. I suppose Jug's not a bad idea either. He gives you a stronger lane. The only problem is there's a lot of ways to kite the Jug this game.
Yeah. I also feel like... Oh. Okay, we actually loaded in super fast, so there we go, folks. No more prison Dota for you. I know how much everybody loves prison Dota, though. Like...
I remember watching streams where it was on all the time, and you were just like... It ruined your experience so much. It was so
No, there
sad.
are people who, like, I think they just love it for the spam in chat, but I was definitely watching someone recently who, like, left the overlay up for, like, 8 minutes, and chat
They
was...
don't check chat.
Well,
That's the worst thing.
I don't check chat. It's just I run the OBS next to me. That's how I can see that my chroma key is never working. Either way, folks, enough talk about non-Dota related things. Welcome to Game 2 of Alternate versus Arcade. Power Rangers. And they are up 1 point on Alternate. You can see, apparently people didn't know what this meant. Either way, we've got a level 1 engagement. Exotic Deer, if he needs to, can just spin away. Oh goodness, he hasn't skilled it yet. He's taking a lot of damage and the opportunity to spin is gone. Exotic Deer is now trying to walk it off. He spins to avoid the secondary slow, and a nice Splinter Blast are going to slow all of them out. But Exotic Deer, he might just go home. Yeah, he's just going to go back to base. So, nice little gank coming out of Arcade, and let's go around and introduce them. On the Dazzle, we've got J4 playing up on top on that Slaughter, who is completely spotted his Cheshire Cat. Is he just going to block him in there? Walk a little bit closer. I think you could block him. No, he eats a tree, gets out. Cheshire Cat going to take probably half his life in harass, but going to be fine. On Rubik, we've got Big Num. Big Num Dota, apparently. I'll have to make sure to follow him on Twitter. You all should too. Show the players your love. Templar Assassin's going to be played up by Barish, which of course leaves Cheshire Cat on PL. Oh, sorry, on Tron. Longest introductions ever. Tossing it over to you.
We have L on the Winter Wyvern, Exotic Deer on the Jug, Nisha on the Doom, Supreme on his Invoker, and Robert G on the Lich. And two things to point out. Going Splinter Blast at level 1 for the Wyvern to try and help his Jug. Now it means TA doesn't have to worry so much.
Yeah. Suddenly TA is like, what are you gonna do? You can't Arctic Bone me, you can't deal with my refractions, get out of my lane! Which is exactly what J4 on the Dazzle is saying. What happened?
The creeps still, they burnt off the refraction charges instantly because he aggroed on the Invoker. Which is, you know, it's not a big deal at all. It's...
The Splinter Blast even takes a CS. Feels bad. Either way, as we already talked about Invoker, this is a really rough lane for him, and we're interested to see how he goes. Exotic Deer on the bottom, already taking a lot of harass as well. His support is finally coming around, and they're not running the lanes I expected. I'm not sure if this was just because of the early rotations, but Robert is already down bottom. He needs to eat a creep. There we go. The changes to that. Oh goodness, but they're gonna turn on him. They're gonna throw it out. They also have a heal bomb, and Robert will be our first blood. One more auto attack. Really well played there. Big Num was actually trying to hold the auto attack because he thought PL might be able to get back in range, but no such luck.
That's so greedy to go up there. When you know Rubik has boots from level 1 engagement, you know the PL probably has a mango because you would have seen it, or your team should have communicated it. But sure, you want to deny the creep, but that's a huge problem now because Arcade are gonna... Like, they're gonna have a level up on you in the lane because it took you so long to get there in the first place, and now they've got more gold than you, and aggressive tri-lanes can really snowball.
Yeah, as we've already mentioned, Nisha is actually getting smacked around a little bit by Cheshire Cat. If Cheshire Cat, he does have 2 mangoes though, he might just dive this. This is gonna be our second blood most likely. He goes for it and Nisha is down. Really good job on Cheshire Cat taking advantage of knowing the Scorched Earth was on cooldown, so...
That's really bad. You're losing your mid lane, you're losing your top lane, you're losing your bottom lane.
Yeah. It's only 2 minutes in though. It's entirely possible that this could turn around. But yes, as you point out, right now it's feeling like 3 lanes are lost, and
And Jug's dead to a DD
yes.
Rubik.
As I turn down to look there again, we see Jug go down. So they're having a really rough time all over the map. It looks like for Alternate. Not anything like this first game.
Yeah, I think Arcade just caught them a bit off guard with the laning stage. I kind of saw it coming in the draft, but sometimes when you're playing, it's like have your mindset on what you're doing, and your opponents are obviously doing the same thing. So they next level you and go for the aggro tri lane knowing what you wanted to do. And as I said at the start, ATN does not have the strongest tri lane, and Arcade are abusing that very well right now.
Strangely though, Supreme now suddenly has more lost hits than Templar Assassin. Also going to drop a nice little EMP. She'll get the heal, but she loses a lot of mana there, and she should be able to get quite a few of these creeps under tower, but Supreme doing a surprising job of salvaging that.
It's probably just because as soon as one support's there, TA can't like put the dominance from the early levels. Can't go up for the CS without losing a lot of regen, a lot of refraction charges, so even though the Wyvern didn't have Arctic Burn level 1, just the presence of the hero made it enough. And now Lick's just sitting here knowing the lane's not going well enough bottom. He can't do anything there.
They're going to have a bit of Arctic Bone action going out on J4. A lot of harass. Splinter Blast as well. J4 is going to get pretty low, but knowing that L can't follow, going to be just fine. And Doom has now taken over the CS up top, but again, if he makes another mistake of that use on the Scorched Earth, Cheshire Cat may just go in ham. He's probably going to go for a crush here. Might crush Nisha in the creep wave. There we go. It's happening again. If Nisha isn't careful, he could fall here, and oh goodness, it's exactly what happened last time. Nisha, you need to walk it off. You're gonna take another slithering crush and go down. He's dead. Goodbye, Nisha. You're gonna get the bashes on Cheshire Cat. Well, he doesn't have it skilled up, but Nisha is trapped in a pickle. He's trying to wander around. He pops the salve. He might be able to get out of this one, but another slithering crush here. Scorched Earth. Oh, goodness. He just goes for the Doom, and he pops the Scorched Earth, and suddenly it is Cheshire Cat on the back line. We see Exotic Deer fall on the bottom, but Doom gets the kill in that prolonged engagement. So, Alternate get themselves on the board, but they lost more in the bottom lane, and this isn't looking great.
Yeah, at least Doom salvaged his lane. He's basically 2 full levels ahead of the Slardar, and Tero, with enough of an advantage, maybe he finds an Elf Wolf, he can turn the game around the next 5 minutes just by being like a big hero that you can't deal with.
Yeah. So, what do you do here? Exotic Deer clearly not getting the farm that he wants. He's 6-1 on lost hits with 2 deaths to his name. Do you rotate? Do you say, hey, we'll stack something for you, Exotic Deer? Maybe you can spin on it softly?
There's nothing he can really do right now. It's just going to be how much he can get out of this lane while his other 2 cores get to the point where they feel like they're ready to fight. As soon as Invoker gets a few more levels up in both of his orbs, he can probably get a TP and look to do some counter ganking. Maybe they even get a kill on the TA here.
She's got a lot of refraction on her, and Supreme is taking way too much tower damage. They failed to switch aggro in the middle of that gank, and while Barish does take a lot of harass, Invoker needed to back all the way up there. He was sitting below 100 health before he got tangos stuffed into him. So, Alternate having a lot of trouble.
They definitely have the tools to come back though, because Invoker's actually doing fine mid. The Doom's eclipsing the PL on net worth, which you would kind of expect. So, if maybe next Doom he looks to go bottom, or he just looks to go mid, get a kill. Maybe rotate lanes then, they have options.
Yeah, Templar Assassin is chasing down Robert G. I'm not quite seeing a way out of this, except there's a tornado coming out of Supreme. Should buy just enough time for Robert G to wander away. Supreme, though, now maybe in a spot of trouble. He's trying to knock those bottle charges off to Barash, and that should be it.
And top lane, the Doom nearly goes down, but he sticks up. He has Doom available, but they're not chasing him. They're going for the Wyvern instead.
Yeah, and I feel like this is just going to make them miss both kills. Slithering Crush doesn't manage to hit, and that means Nisha should be able to walk it off. They can see exactly where he is. He needs to kind of juke, but TA, I think, is going to get that kill. He tops the Doom onto her. He's now moving like a race car, and he no longer has the amp damage on him. And with the help of Invoker, are they going to turn this around? This is amazing. There's the Shallow Grave coming out, but I think that the TA is dead. Maybe she'll try to deny herself to creeps. Invoker manages to get that, but now he is surrounded, and Supreme going to be the casualty there. But, I mean, he got the kill on TA first, so I think they're okay with that. I mean, it could be worse, is what I'm trying to say.
Just Doom things.
I mean, that was a... This game, I feel like... I feel like it needs some Benny Hill music playing.
That's just painful, because you can see him. You see he's at, like, 2 hits worth of HP. Then he dooms you, he Scorched Earths, and he's fine. I hate that hero so much.
I feel like
now we get to see why we hate the hero.
I feel like the worst part is the Doom. He wasn't even at 2 hits. He had amp damage on him. He would have been dead. So Supreme actually still playing really ballsy in the mid lane. And I mean, this guy knows how to play Invoker, but I'm always surprised by how up there he plays. especially since the hero is not meant to do so well.
I think it's actually, maybe I was completely overstating it, because just having the second hero there means TA can't ever really use her refraction charges to trade hits. Boca can constantly like take them off from long range, and as soon as the refraction's down, if she ever uses it take advantage of that by harassing her out with cold snap, etc. So the lane is probably really bad, but they just played really well around it on ATN. And unfortunately, Arcade, they had the tri-lane to deal with, so TA didn't get help in the lane, but now she's getting the help from the stacks that they've been doing on the Ancients. And
as we talked about, Doom just harassing everyone he can, because he's Doom. He might dive the tower, he might just kill all of these creeps for fun, but Supreme is here, and oh, they're probably gonna go under Big Num. Oh goodness, Supreme, he wants your body, he wants to kill you all, but we have TPs coming in. It's just gonna be the PL though, and they just drop an EMP. That's gonna drain a lot of mana on people. PL dodges it with a doppelganger, but the Doom comes out onto Cheshire Cat. Nisha should go down here. He doesn't have Scorched Earth, it's on cooldown from before. He pops his stick charges and a tornado again. Supreme with these spells coming out. Turn around, throw a rocket, Tron. He's probably gonna get us the doppelganger. There comes the turn, and he's gonna actually go for the hit onto Tron because he's got the baby Dooblings. They're gonna throw more rocks, and they catch out the PL. Doom, while you know, you never want to die, but they got pretty worth out of that.
That's so worth it.
And again, I think he turned around, realizing I think he could have maybe walked away there, because PL would have had to give up his life either way to follow him, but a more sure kill, getting the baby Doomlings to pop out, since both of those rocks still have quite a bit of damage on them. And they don't cost any mana.
And heaven forbid someone comes mid now into the double rocks and tornado from Boca.
Yeah, that's 250 damage for free, pretty much. So
yeah, they should change the damage on those things, I think.
They are, in fact, rather strong. It needs mana cost or damage. And as you said, here come the baby Doomlings. They're saying hello. They throw 2 rocks at Barish and walk away. Even if these Doomlings die, it like doesn't matter in the slightest, right? They're like 14 gold or something, and
didn't get the gold from them anyway, so it doesn't matter.
This is very silly. Just Doom things.
Yeah, and it makes Enchantress actually a usable hero now if you get Mud Golems. But unfortunately, the flip side is Doom's better because of it.
No. So, Big Num hiding in the trees. He has hit level 6 on the Rubik. We should really take a look at that. We've got a lot of, actually both Lich and Rubik have level 6. Not exactly what I was expecting. The other 2 supports doing a lot more roaming. So, but it's a good timing on that level 6 for them. It's something where sometimes from these supports we don't see it coming out until the 14-minute mark. Even with that haste, Barish taking a lot of damage, she might be able to run down Supreme though, but it looks like both of them preferring to calm things down and take a chill pill.
Yeah, and I'm actually really surprised at how well the Rubik's keeping up on levels. And as that happens, the Dazzle gets put even further behind as he dies to the Doom Dive top. He's also in some trouble.
We have a smoke that it got broken by Exotic Deer. He doesn't see Cheshire Cat coming in. I don't think Exotic Deer has a way out of this. He could maybe eat his mango, but he's gonna go down before that happens. He does eat his mango. He goes for the ult, but the spin coming out. Oh, being killed with your own spin, always an awkward thing to go down. And yeah, that level 1 Omni Slash, only 3 slashes. It's not exactly the most fatal thing. And now Supreme, he's been amped up, he's being chased around. Does he have any sort of support? He also drops the EMP. That's going to be enough mana, and the Winter's Curse turnaround, they get the quick kill onto Slaughter, and now they're looking for more, but Barish has refractions up, and Supreme not that cocky. That was a beautiful turnaround.
I'm surprised they actually went for that, because you know the tornado's going to come out by the time you get in crush range, and I'm not sure if they saw the Wyvern, but I think they had. They've got the wards, so they should have seen him because it's daytime as well. Yeah, just giving up kills they shouldn't, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's... I don't know, maybe it is a big deal because this Invoker's just so big right now, you can't really fight into him.
Yeah, Alternate definitely were behind for a little bit there, being down on the kill score, but they've made a good job of coming back. And while this lead, it's not insurmountable, this is like less than one big team fight that we're going to be seeing as we're approaching mid-game. It's still something where they were losing all their lanes at one point. Now they're coming back.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, but I feel like it's even more so than the gold deficit. It's like TAs have a Deso at this point, and she doesn't even have one component yet. And the Invoker's like, he's more than happy with what he has right now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of twofold.
Invoker is standing up there. He's got an invisibility rune, so no giveaway. But he goes for it. He's going to drop the EMP as well, and that's because Wyvern is nearby. They do not have sentries, though. So Supreme, he needs to wander away, and Big Num going to throw him back into the waiting arms of a Poison Touch, but that should be the end of that engagement. Neither team really wanting to bait a bit too deep. I don't think they... Yeah, this is our Radiant Vision. Couldn't quite see how many were coming in, and then of course the Dire had nothing there to tell them what was going on, so... Meanwhile, Doom, top lane, getting lances thrown at him every second.
Yeah, but he's a hero that can sustain it because he has a headdress and balance spells of Scorched Earth.
On the other hand...
They're actually going to see this rotation, so the supports aren't going to get anything done here.
Yeah. And Tron is having a much easier game this time, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Doom opens with the Doom and the Winter's Curse. That is Big Num going down. They're now going to chase onto J4. Big Num trying to body block them up, actually, so that J4 receives less hate. He has a Shallow Grave if he wants it. Instead, just goes with the Shadow Wave, really wanting to hold on to that. And if they have more TP rotations, I don't think it's unreasonable to say that Arcade could turn this around, since the Doom is down, as is the Winter's Curse. And we're probably just going to see Tron throw some more lances at Nisha with the Scorched Earth being down.
That's a lot of hate for the Rubik, but it was a nice rotation coming up, knowing that they wanted to kind of get something done from Sports of Arcade, but they saw them on the ward, the Wyvern TP's up. They probably also saw this lane ward get dropped.
Yeah.
Maybe they were not looking on the inventories at the time, though.
Well, maybe they will, because Invoker, he pulsed around it, and now he's seeing what he can find on the back lines. Maybe he's just going to go for a Dazzle, but nighttime, neither of these two seeing each other, although they may be right about to walk into each other. Dazzle has thrown out another heal, and my goodness, the Paul thing here, very lucky for that Dazzle.
Yeah, it's so painful seeing it as a spectator, because you don't realize how close you are as a player. But nighttime's a thing, and on top of that, neither of them have, like, heightened night vision, like other heroes.
Yeah, none of the heroes in this game, right, have extra night vision? If I'm recalling correctly.
Not by a big amount.
Yeah, oh, we're gonna see Slaughter thinking about coming in. There's the Meld Strike. Supreme suddenly missing a lot of armor. He needs help, but he may just fall here before it comes in. And there we see him going down. And there's also the lift onto the Wyvern. Cold embraces herself. It reduces a lot of damage coming out of them, but without more help, she's just gonna fall after this. And Wyvern going down as well. So no more rotations than that, and unfortunately for Alternate, feeding away 2 kills quickly.
And that gives Slide Ice Blink, so maybe they can start putting enough pressure on the map to even up this game a bit. Roche is definitely good enough though, if they don't feel like going for more kills, giving the TA an Aegis. That pretty much finishes up Hadesso in the next minute if she takes the Ancients after this.
Yeah, they have a lineup that can do a super early Roshan. I'm really happy to see them taking advantage of it. I think they can actually do it as soon as Slaughter turns 6 with 1 point in Meld Strike, so they get it. TA, probably the carrier as we talked about, and yeah, she's going to be holding it. The Tornado coming out just a little too late. They're still thinking about going in for it. Templar Assassin doesn't have a blink or anything. Are they just going to burn this right as it goes? But they don't have any sentries. What is going on here? Oh, no dust, no sentries. They're just going to spin right on top of Barash. Oh, and Supreme now coming in, walking around. I'm so... Oh gosh, she actually walks forward a little bit, and it looks like they're thinking about engaging, but Barashi is back there, has the meld again, and you just spin on that. I mean, it's got a long cooldown, but it's back up. Exotic Deer, I thought, knew that she was in there, and unfortunately, it looks like with the weave on them as well, they may not be wanting to go for that, and they don't have vision. Oh goodness, now the Templar Assassin is attacking the ward. They end up Winter's Cursing on Big Num, again showing a lot of hate for this Rubik. He's going to be spun down, Shallow Grave comes out, and now Nisha is going to take out J4, so no more help from the Dazzle, and one more auto attack finishes off Big Num. So they get something, but a really strange engagement, and Templar Assassin probably pretty happy she didn't get the Aegis and then burn it immediately.
Yeah, losing the 2 supports is... It's really nice that ATM managed to get something, but if you're Arcade, you're not too fussed about it. Even though the Rubik's a fairly pricey kill, because... I think he was around on par with Slada a while ago. Maybe that was before the 2 kills mid, though. But he's still doing fairly well, so every time you can kill him and peg him down a notch, that's good.
Yeah, 100%. So we're just going to be waiting in the pause. This gives us a good moment to take a look around at the items. Wyvern now holding up 3 sentries. We've also got Juggernaut with working towards that Battle Fury to accelerate his farm. Doom has a Vlad's and drums. This is a fighting Doom. He's going to be helping his team out with that. And I really like how that combos with the Quas Wex Invoker. So he also has workings of an orchid, which definitely can kill a couple people here if he catches them out. And Lich is poor, is the way we generally say that. Dazzle, of course, brown boots. The blink is up on Slaughter, which is a pretty big pickup for him. Probably going to work on the 4-star for finishing those treads next. Bignum, pretty good farm, but still, you know, just rocking those arcanes. Deso that we already talked about on Templar Assassin. And, of course, Phantom Lancer, doomed.
But he's fine. So
Yeah.
they might be able to transition this into a tier 1 though, if they know the PL's not in fighting shape. If they can get that while the Aegis is up, that's a really big deal. But it's
PL
also a really ballsy move.
He does have a TP up, so he can come back into this team fight, and while Invoker does have his entire toolkit available, as you said, it's pretty risky, and they might just poke at it with Alacrity and then back. This tower is almost full health as well, so it's not an easy task, and Slaughter, they know he has a blink, yeah, they decide to back out on the side of Alternate.
They're making space for the Jug, so that rotation's... It's not the best that you don't get a kill off the Doom, but you draw all of Arcade down there, and Jug's got a free open side of the map, which is exactly what he needs right now, because he's really far behind where he should be. He's not doing too bad in the circumstance, so...
Yeah. Now we're going to be seeing lots of folks rotating down into this jungle in a smoke. It looks like they'll be catching the Wyvern. Wyvern has a haste. Oh goodness, breaks everything, but Lift is not gonna work. You get a haste, but they have Lift. They have lots of stuns, so... Wyvern, on the other hand, probably... you'd prefer the Lich, maybe, over the Wyvern to be caught, just because having Winter's Curse is nice, but it could have been a lot worse, and now they're running on through. Slaughter seeing if he can catch anybody else.
I'm actually really surprised he went there, because he should have known that Arcade was still in the area. So, small misplay. They were going to lose the tower regardless, but they give up one extra kill, which Arcade arguably shouldn't have gotten. But they're managing to trade. Or at least it looks like they'll be able to trade. I don't think Arcade can get here in time. Their TP's almost down. They're just opting to not defend.
I think it's not a good trade if Arcade also gets the mid tower, but it does look like they've gotten top already and they could rotate from middle a tower which is full health and they have a glyph, so guessing that they want to do something about this, but Templar Assassin of course with that Desolator will make quick work of this tower, and they need to start TPing into that tier 2 or the trees, and the trees are dangerous because Slaughter are keeping an eye open for anybody coming in. He even goes on L again. Is L just gonna fall here? Puts himself into that cold embrace, but there is a Fade Bolt with L's name on it, so Wyvern down and an easy tier 1 tower going the way of Arcade.
It's really nice positioning from the Slider, realizing the Wyvern or any hero might come, try and draw creep aggro, light the push a bit. He's in position to punish that. So yet again, they get the tower on top of a kill, which arguably they shouldn't be given.
And I'm pretty sure they know exactly where the lineup of Arcade knows exactly where Alternate. If they get the lift onto Doom, no TP out for him, and that is a nice big kill for them. A huge Shadow Wave killing him off.
So now, despite the net worth still being slightly in favor of ATN, they're pretty much back to even, and Arcade are gonna probably get the last remaining tier 1, make really good use of the Sages.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work with it. Knocking out all the tier 1s, fantastic job, and it's an early Aegis as well, so this does mean that they'll get another one back soon. We've also got folks super deep, Slithering Crush coming out onto Robert. Yeah, we ever going to get to see a Lich ult flying out? And I'm beginning to think that might be a no, but we have a big tornado coming out. EMP should do some good work. Cheshire Cat taking a lot of damage there, and the ult does come out. It somehow manages to bounce. It's still bouncing. It hits a lot of illusions though, and that should be just about the 10 bounces going down. It hits Cheshire Cat!
Oh my god, how is it bouncing?
Okay.
Right, that was the worst Lich ult ever.
So
turned into something that was actually good.
I feel like the max bounce range was...
How does it go from
I think,
there to
okay,
there?
no. So I think what happened... Yeah, that was the one which surprised me too, when it bounced from Cheshire Cat to the PL. But I think what actually happened is when the bounce was initiated, because PL has drums, so he may have just been moving really fast, and he was actually a lot closer when the bounce began. But yeah, we do get to see a Lich ulti, and it does mad work.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised. If I was playing that Lich, there's no way that would bounce that favorably for me. Game's rigged. They might find the Invoker. They've got a sentry down. They can't quite get the lift though, so he should be able to get away.
Yeah, and very happy Supreme to escape. Now, something...
Ripping had a blink. Really surprised that worked. They're cancelling the TP, they might get him now.
Yeah, Supreme, he takes a lot of damage there. Amp damage up, no way to Ghost Walk out of this one, and he is going to go down. So, a little bit too cocky play. And maybe, while we do agree that Supreme plays this Invoker really well, maybe overextending because he's feeling like he's in a dominant position.
He just hasn't been able to do anything though. He got this Orchid drums at a really good timing, but as soon as Arcade are grouping up because they have the Aegis, he's not in a position to be able to fight them because his Jug is... Admittedly, he's on par, but it feels like they're so far behind as a team, so they aren't.
Their supports and offlaner are... Well, sorry, no, just their supports are doing really poorly. Like, I think that's where the change comes. Rubik has a blink versus these other supports where Lich is rocking shoes and working towards a 4-staff, and of course Wyvern is also really poor.
It's mostly just the Aegis, but it feels like Arcade are in a stronger position than they actually are numerically. But I think that's just the heroes, honestly. Like, TA is at her peak at this stage of the game. She's buffed up by a Slardar, and PL's not countered at the moment.
Additionally, it does feel like they're getting good pickoffs. I was a little bit surprised that they decided to go for the illusion there, but of course the Lich looking like an easier pickoff than a Doom. So yeah, PL, he is doing well. He's got that defusal up, decides to go for that first item this time. And yeah, or first big item, we don't count drums. How do they start to counter the PL? Because of course if Doom can PL the right PL, Doom can Doom the right PL, it's going to be fine. But other than that, I'm not sure how they stop him.
I think it's just going to be the Jug eventually getting to the point where he can man fight, which is always going to be hard because Diffusal on Jug limits a lot of your options. From the PL, sorry. Like, he's going to lose all of his mana, and he's probably not going to feel confident being able to skate in and out of the fights without spin, without Omni mana. But if he gets big enough, he can definitely fight, so I wouldn't say the PL's, like, uncountered at all this game.
Yeah.
But on top of that, there's the TA to worry about. She's kind of the X factor here.
She does have her
just kill the Jug in, like, 2 hits.
She does have her Blink Dagger up. She has a bunch more gold in the bank. This Smoke may be unable to connect, but they have another in their possession, and it feels like Arcade, while they're not super far ahead by any means in gold or experience, they're in fact behind on both. It does feel like it's their game to lose right now because they're at, as you said, kind of peak power.
Yeah, and they should be able to maintain Roche control, which, when you pick TA on the dire side, especially Slardar and Dazzle as well, is generally why you do it. You can do it on Radiant as well, but it's just slightly easier to execute on die because of how the towers are, etc.
Yeah, and we haven't seen Alternate able to make something happen, it feels like, in about 6-7 minutes.
I kind of just splitting up really well. Like, if they are split, it's for PL who can't really get caught by the Diffusal, sorry, not the Diffusal, the Orchid on the Invoker, because he has his own Diffusal Blade to purge it off, etc. He can always TP away after Cold Snap, blah blah blah. But the heroes that are vulnerable, they're staying in a group.
Radiant's top tower is under
And with that, Chetrakat is going to initiate onto poor Supreme, and he is alone. He throws out a tornado, but it's not enough. Big Gnome coming in with the lift. Supreme's going to fall again. Templar Assassin getting herself a nice little dominating streak. So, and tornado stolen.
Yeah, that's a really big spell actually, if you can manage to stop maybe the Wyvern or the Invoker when he comes back up from doing things while you kill another hero.
Yeah.
You don't need long as the TA or the PL to actually kill a hero this game.
100%. Exotic Deer may have up his Yasha. I think he needs a lot more before he's ready to fight. You know, Manta, there's a couple things you can dodge out of here, but even then, it does feel like he needs some damage after that. Maybe...
Yeah, he needs a lot.
Yeah. And we're seeing Chetrakat again doing good work initiating things. He gets the Winter's Curse cast on him, but where is the damage? There it goes. A tornado dodged by the 4-staff. Well played there. And he's not going to hit him, but it might be enough damage. Nope, with the heals coming out, no way that Urn is taking him down. So, a nice escape by Chetrakat, and the Winter's Curse burned. This does mean that Alternate probably not going to be able to take a fight for a while.
Might mean they concede this 2-2 bottom.
Radiant's bottom
Arcade are all
tower is under
rotating
attack.
down now, so unless ATN really feel like they can fight without the Winter's Curse, which I feel like they can't,
is under attack.
And this has gone for
Radiant's
free,
bottom tower is
just
under
because of
attack.
that bad engagement. These
Radiant's
Vijay's
structures
farming, meanwhile,
are
they're trying to push
fortified.
up mid with the Wyvern. They're actually rotating heroes down. It looks like they do want to fight.
I'd be really surprised. This Doom doesn't have a way of fighting, and he's lost almost all of his mana. So they throw up a tornado, but Doom, he's already being gone on. They use the Cold Embrace, but your mana's still gonna all be stolen. Nisha, he's basically a big creep at this point. He tries to pop his wand charges and the Shivas, but it's not gonna do much, and he goes down. They do get the Omni Slash onto Cheshire Cat, and now Tron, he's taking quite a bit of damage with a Doppelganger forwards, and suddenly Supreme. He's on the back lines. Barash gonna use a cleave to kill him. Sorry, the meld strike to kill him, and the stolen Omni Slash coming out. Exotic Dia saved in the Cold Embrace. They're getting very low. J4 falls. Tron has to use that Doppelganger, but Exotic Dia, he can't turn and fight. He doesn't know which one's the real one. Own Charge is flying out. Barash is low as well, but should have refractions in 4 seconds. If they can just throw another Splinter Blast,
Radiant's
I think
bottom
Wyvern could
tower
have
has
managed something, but it is rough, and the Wyvern may just be falling here. Just manages to live there.
I'm really surprised they tried to fight that. Especially because by the time they got there, the tower was like already half dead and Arcade
Did
were in a
Bignum just...
position.
Yeah. He went for the Fade
happened?
Bolt. He went for the Fade Bolt onto L. So he blunked forwards, went for the Fade Bolt, and then instead Robert blasted him with the Frost Blast, and then L popped Arctic Burn and started attacking him. But Roshan is up, and it should be easy for the lineup of Arcade. Look at it go.
Yeah, they're all half dead, but they don't care. They've got TA.
Roshan has fallen
Now this
to
is
the
probably going to secure the remaining tier 2s, unless ATN can pull off some really nice smokes. No way they can actually initiate on the front. They need to find the backline. If they can find Sladder before the Grave comes out, that would be like ideal. 'Cause then all their stuns are gone, minus the Rubik. If you don't give him a big spell and you take out the Sladder before Grave, then you can have maybe a good fight. But those are really hard circumstances to hit.
And now, both the PL and Templar Assassin are top of the net worth charts. It's looking rough for Alternate. How do they get back into this game?
I think they just have to maintain like their high ground. Maybe withhold a few Aegis pushes and just get bigger. Because as the game goes on, Doom counteracts one of the heroes, especially TA, really well, because she's really fragile as the game goes on. And she's not going to feel comfortable just going into a fight when she's doomed. PL's countered kind of by Wyvern and Jug as the game goes on. And Invoker's a huge X factor. You know, if he gets level 25, Deafening Blast does really well against all their heroes. He has ways of disabling the Dazzle, so...
Unfortunately,
like...
he's level 14. He didn't go for a Midas either or anything. Now we're going to be seeing a Slithering Crush initiation. The Doom has come out onto the Rubik. They've got the Tornado as well, and the Winter's Curse being used on Barish. Do they have the damage? Dazzle has fallen on the backline. The Lich ulti bouncing. It burns the first life on Barish, and now they're looking for more, but here comes PL Tron doing a lot of good work. Doing a lot of damage to Supreme. They burnt through the illusions with the Splinter Blast and Nisha. He's managing to run away, but the Healing Ward has been taken down. And Exotic Deer, the Omni Slash, is stopped by Tron, just splitting up into that Doppelganger. They should be able to catch out Cheshire Cat here, but they would probably want some more. Either way, this is a good deal for them. And I believe the Dazzle bought back.
Bought out.
Yeah, J4
Yeah, that's
bought back.
huge. They
So-
burned the Aegis as well on the TA,
They
so
burned the
that's no
Aegis.
longer a factor.
Is in it, but Alternate have never really been too far behind, and that really surprises me just because the kills were so in favor of Arcade, and additionally it just feels like Arcade is doing better.
Yeah, but the Struts managed to keep up in farm despite the 1 or 2 team fights that I believe they shouldn't have taken. He's keeping toe-to-toe with his TA, which mostly due to the fact Arcade have been grouping up as a team trying to make things happen. They have made things happen, but it's just 1 or 2 missteps and suddenly it's all gone.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a 4-star coming out of the Lich finally. Supreme has a DD, but he's not that scary. That's the okay. I was gonna say that's the other thing that I find surprising. Supreme hasn't shown us a new item in a long time, but there it is, a Deso.
I really like it actually. I feel like it's risky though, just because if he ever gets caught out, he's already so squishy. The Wyvern's not a complete save. If Rubik manages to steal like a nuke, he can do like 700-ish damage. So it is risky, but I like the idea behind it.
Yeah, and I also think that it's... what's the right way to say it? They need damage. They need damage sources that aren't just Jug. They can't bet at all on the Juggernaut right now. And so having a Deso on the Invoker, I mean, he can hit quite hard, and as he gets more points in Exhort, he'll be able to have a nice, solid Alacrity bonus. That'll help out too.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised he didn't go for the AC instead, though, which I think it was him going for it the other day, where he'd like always transition into an AC. Game it would make a lot more sense, but maybe the Doom saying no, I'll go AC next, so we have as much armor as possible. And then the Invoker's just down to getting right-click items. Maybe he looks into a BKB next, or some kind of mobility item.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are a lot of options here, and I actually have to say I think that these team fights will go more smoothly. Less, as you said, Invoker has to drop all of his spells well, but I'm actually more interested to see the itemization coming out of the Wyvern, because a Force Staff or Blink would do wonders here for L.
Yeah, both would be amazing. It's just what if he feels he needs to counter-initiate, or if he feels he needs to save his team.
Because it feels like a lot of the Winter's Curses have been onto one hero so far.
Yeah,
okay, as you said, they're used very defensively. I don't think I've seen one to initiate. It's been Cheshire Cat jumps in. We should probably Winter's Curse him before he kills us all.
Yeah, I mean, he had a few really nice ones early, but it's a lot easier when people are running into you early.
Yeah.
They already have the Force on the Lich, so I wouldn't be surprised if he opts to go for a Blink Refresher, but it looks like he's been buying the wards most of the game, so that might be a bit optimistic to even think of anything past a Force or a Blink.
He's definitely the sacked support too, which I find to be really interesting.
I don't think he should be.
I agree. I feel like Lich is the hero who can do a lot with nothing, having that ice armor, having that nice Chain Frost ultimate, and then of course Frost Blast.
Got his Force already as well, so like,
yeah.
What more do you want from the hero?
I don't know, but I think Rubik's going in Aghanims, and this excites me with an Invoker in the game.
Yeah, if he manages to do a lot with it, then it's good.
Ooh, the Tornado still ends up latching onto Cheshire Cat. He's gonna blink away though in a few seconds if they don't get damage onto him. Supreme now taking a lot of damage actually from Templar Assassin. Immediate Winter's Curse, but it hits onto an illusion unfortunately, and that was the saddest Lich ultimate. Here comes Tron, they do get the Doom onto Big Nun, they still hate this here, and the Omni Slash, it's actually bouncing, making up for that Lich ultimate. They've gotten so many heroes low, Exotic Deer just needs one more hit on Barish, and somehow he lives through all of that. They even Cold Embrace one of his illusions, knowing that Exotic Deer didn't need it. No, I'm pretty sure that was a misclick, but, another really one team fight, and I thought they were in a spot of trouble when they Winter's Curse the wrong Templar Assassin, but taking her out of the fight, making her unable to attack there.
Well, that was a complete panic moment, though. Like, he did the exact right thing, though. He didn't put the Invoker under Cold Embrace. He immediately Winter's Curse something. And all they had to do there was stop the Invoker dying, which they did. And then they managed to win the fight. And now they're going to force buybacks, if there are any.
Now there's going to also be a level, a level 2 Sunstrike. Oh, goodness, but Big Nom may go down anyway. He does pop to the Soulbone coming out of that Orchid, and as you said, it's forcing buybacks. We've got one from the TA, but it looks like Arax is going to be down regardless. The loss of that through backdoor protection. Exotic Deer with the spin TP out. Slaughter not even trying for the right-click bash attempt to stop that TP, and they've gotten themselves a big lead on the lineup. Oh, he gets a Slithering Crush onto 3. It stops the TP. They're going to lose at least L. Going down, throws out the Splinter Blast on Tornado. Will that be enough to stop to enable the retreat coming out from Supreme? He can't turn invisible because he's got the amp damage on him. And I think, oh, okay. I thought it would take him a little bit longer, but one hit from the Templar Assassin knocks him out.
Now they can find the Doom as well. It's just okay. TA's got Blink ready, but force some Lich away, so at least they get something out of the buybacks. They lost their melee racks, which was going to happen with or without the buybacks, I feel like. So,
I mean, I feel like they suddenly lost 10,000 gold.
Yeah, it was a really sudden change, and Arcade probably didn't expect it. As soon as they lost that fight mid where they had the Aegis control, it's just been downhill for them, because they can't fight without an Aegis, because she is a really fragile hero.
Exactly. So suddenly, alternate are the ones in the driver's seat, and it really did feel like Templar Assassin was in a good position to dominate that game. No such luck.
Yeah, it's one of those. Like, this is Dota. You go from such a commanding position where it's like, even though we were saying money-wise, it wasn't a huge lead, but it felt like a huge lead because of fact, ATN did not want to fight into them. They were taking all the towers without contention, and if there was any contention, they were getting picks behind the towers, next to the tier 2s at like 15 minutes. So it felt like they were extremely dominant, and they were. Then one or two bad fights, ATN kept up in the money while they were having their downtime, and suddenly it's a different game.
Exactly. Now, we're going to be seeing Doom. He is rocking 4.2k gold. Do you think he might just be the AC carrier? Oh, we've got mass disconnects.
Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for Refresher as well. You
Don't
could definitely
say
go
it,
either, though.
Barash. My understanding is we're not meant to say the words, but either way, it's not important. And
Just don't talk about it.
exactly, we're going to ignore it. Instead, we're going to look at Dazzle's items. We're going to look at his costume a little bit. I hate how when I look in at costume mode, everything looks stupid. Like, Dazzle doesn't walk around with his arms out awkwardly like this. Also, he's got incredibly long forearms.
That's a good point, actually. I think this is just reborn bugs, because it wasn't like this when it was
No.
initially...
No. It is a reborn
Stupid
bug. It's the same
reborn.
reason the effigies have the stuff flying off of them, I'm pretty sure. It's because when you, like, sometimes the effigies change too when you examine them, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when you look at the effigies, they look, like, mostly alright, and then go into this infection mode and everything's screwed up.
Can we also discuss the lack of effigies in this game? I just realized, I mean, we're seriously lacking in the effigy game. It's, like, one for Big Nom, and that's it.
I think
Like,
it's
it doesn't
A,
even have an
because of the
inscription.
bugs, B, because when everyone went to Reborn, the effigies got taken off of their, what's it called? Like,
Profiles?
their profile
Oh,
of
yeah.
items.
Also,
So they
sometimes
probably
in...
just haven't re-added it.
I really enjoy this discussion a lot. But yeah, I am upset by this effigy game. Come on, Big Nom, you can't just... Oh, sorry, there's another one over here. I missed it. It's a Rubik. It still has no inscription. This could also just be like a Russian thing, though. Like, maybe the Russians are like, no, you're not allowed to inscribe them. That's rude. No icons. It's not very Russian at all.
Maybe it's a rule?
No, it's not. There's a lot of icons in Eastern Orthodox. Either way, let's see what Dazzle has going on here. He's got just the medallion slaughter. It is forced off Blink Dagger Tranquils. And now I think he's working on the BKB. I understand the point of Tranquils. Gives you a bit more armor. Certainly gets you even faster if you're not taking damage when you add in Sprint to that. It just feels like you're not very tanky.
At the point of the game you pick them up, you actually are. But he has to go for the mobility items.
Yeah.
And when you've not picked up anything except an Ogre Club after Tranquils in like 30 minutes of gameplay to help you tank up, you do feel squishy. Like, everyone on Arcade actually feels squishy now.
Yeah, there's no good way for me to, like, pull up their comparative healths, but Dazzle's rocking under 1,000, Slaughter's under, he's 1.5 thousand, Rubik's at 1.2, Templar Assassin's at 1.6, and, Phantom Lance are actually pretty tanky compared to everyone else. But it's not so great when you also consider the fact that we got a Deso, so it's removing armor. They're generally using the weave offensively, not defensively. Okay, so we're not getting so much action there. And Juggernaut, yeah, he does a lot of damage. Cleave also, coming off of the Battle Fury, doesn't care about your armor. So, it's rough. Or your evasion.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I'd expect the PL to pick something up now that makes him tanky, whether it be Scaddy or Hearth. Both are decent options.
Yeah.
I think Scaddy makes a lot more sense, though, as you need a way to, like, kite, I feel like, at this point. So the TA can maybe, like, blink out, come back in, get a pick. You play that game instead.
Yeah, and it looks
Might
like
need,
they're just...
this...
It looks like they're
Oh,
just
sorry.
having some packet loss, so that's a good thing. Just a router reset should fix that. So,
Yeah, hope... Oh, I never knew that.
what?
I never knew they were brothers.
Oh! Well,
I suppose, like, when you scrim teams, you don't really talk to them that much,
no,
but
you
I never
don't.
knew about it.
You don't be, and also their names. I mean, it's Nisha and Supreme. It's not like a giveaway, you know?
No, it's not like...
I'm trying to think of someone who actually has similar names, and I'm drawing a complete blank, so my argument is invalid and dumb. But I was trying to think, I was about to say Limp and Chessie, but then I realized, like, their names aren't a giveaway either, I just know that they're related.
Yeah, Swindle, Z-Freak, it's not a giveaway
Yeah,
either, but
no.
the reason you know that is because there's profiles on the teams they've been in. Like
yeah.
in Hon, it was really obvious because everyone knew who they were. Whereas ATN, they're a really good team, but they just aren't a high-profile team.
Yeah.
Yet. I hope they do become so one day.
Yeah, no, I mean, there are a lot of... Something I love about not only Starlighter, but a lot of other tournaments having larger qualifiers. We're seeing some really great teams get opportunities to play other great teams. It always lifts you up. We talked about it a bit in the NA scene, where DC maybe weren't performing so well. They go to Nanyang, they get to scrim a lot of those fantastic teams. They come back and they start wiping everybody in the North American scene. You know, they had that run where they qualified for the summit where they did really, really well, and a lot of people weren't expecting it. So I feel like it's always great that there are tournaments like Starladder, like the open qualifiers that will be coming up for the majors, and that a lot of other tournaments have been running, because it allows so many more tier 2 teams to be pulled up.
Yeah, and as soon as you get that tiny bit of like success, it can catapult you to more. ATN are probably at the position where they get invited to like a lot of small tournaments. There's no way they get invited to like qualifiers for things. They're gonna have to do it themselves. It's a hard life, honestly. You have to perform so consistently to get to the point where it's like, alright, you are now considered a team worthy of being invited to
Or
DreamHack.
have big names. I mean, that's something where it turned out it was obviously valid, but I was actually really surprised when the first few tournaments out of the international, Secret were invited, because they were technically a new team, right? They'd had only one member remain, and while they had a lot of big names on them, it did definitely feel like they didn't have to play through any qualifiers for...
Yeah, but that team was like...
But they were
all-star
invited
team.
before they showed that they were dominating everybody, right?
Yeah, but you look at that team, right? Pylai Dai was once the best support in the world.
But would he still be? He hadn't played on a good team in a year.
Yeah, but it's... Without firing any shots here, it's the same thing with Alliance and Navi. They are... Alliance less so these days because they're coming back to form. They're finding a way to win games and they're competing. But Navi get invited to things just because they are Navi. That's not a bad thing because lots of people love watching them play. It's just that there are more deserving teams in terms of players.
And we are seeing Navi start to lose out on those invites because of this.
Yeah, but everyone wants to see Dendi at an event. He's like such a charismatic guy. On top of that, he's really fun to watch play as well.
Yeah. People
Right,
are
good
claiming they're
stuff.
not. Thank you, Dota, for all the problems. And you know, the worst part is that the packet loss may not even be like on their end. I know some people, less so with Dota, but were having, after a few patches, a lot of packet loss. I know I was having dropped inputs on this lost, the 6.85B patch. Oh my goodness, that destroyed me. So. Well, we're
now
back
let's see
into a
if
game.
anyone remembers what we're doing.
Well, they just took a good engagement after they forced buybacks, and Arcade did manage to get a little bit out of those buybacks, got a few kills, but maybe not as much as they wanted. The net worth chart is still... Also, I have to say I love the... I love the pause, like,
Oh yeah,
where
it
they
counts,
just draw
doesn't it?
out... They draw it out, and then the time doesn't look wrong, but it's wrong. The net worth graph is now ruined. Oh, they
I
just
don't know,
actually shifted.
We need
I never
production
realized.
value.
So what they've done is for the past 10 minutes or so of the pause... Okay, we don't actually have an engagement, so I can show people this. They've actually just shifted the graph to the left. Wow. That is,
Fine.
actually
Alright,
really
this is
poorly
how
written.
we do things.
So, but that is not important, folks. We should not. We've done enough trashing of Reborn. It's really hard to make a video game, folks, so we should not make fun of them. I can't remember when the Aegis expired whether it was going to be a long or a short Roshan. It told us, but we will find out in a few shakes of a lamb's tail. Because that's what shakes. That's what shakes, so we'll see.
Most tails shake. But
Actually,
one
you
thing
cut
to
lamb
note,
tails off, but it's not important. It's a 9-minute Roshan.
Something that happens a lot when you pause for that long, And
Oh goodness,
okay,
it's
never
gonna
mind,
be
I
a
don't get
Winter's
time.
Curse onto Barish and a Doom. They want that Templar Assassin dead, and she bought back last team fight, so there is no way back in here.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, they have to defend though, so I don't think this is gonna amount to another Rax.
Do you trade a Rax here? Because you have a Deso on your team, and they have PL. I think actually it is Arcade who may need to be returning, because they have excellent push on the lineup of Alternate. They also could put more alacrities on people. Yeah, they are burning through these racks before the tower is even down. So suddenly,
Wow, yeah.
Alternate getting a Rax, and this is the power of Deso plus a very pithy alacrity.
Middle barracks.
And Wyvern as well. Like he was there as on his own defending, and IK didn't feel comfortable.
Oh goodness, we have an Omni Slash coming out. It doesn't hit on too many, but here comes the Lich ult. It unfortunately wasn't on J4 first, so it doesn't stop the TP, and there is no level def on cooldown to be a stun, so there's no stopping that, but we are going to see them get a Rax, and I think even though they didn't get the kills down bottom, you're probably pretty dang happy with a Rax, and it might even be another 5,000 gold for them.
Yeah, that's huge. I really didn't think they'd be able to brute force the Rax like that after TPing the Wyvern down. But IK didn't respond like instantly. They had the Rubik come back, and I think they realized, okay, we want to trade here, and then they kind of went backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. They managed to get the tower, whereas ATN took the entire Rax.
Yeah.
As you said, that's the Deso Alacrity coming into play.
Yeah,
The Supreme item choices.
more Deso
Almost
than
like
the
he knows what he's
Alacrity,
doing.
because it's still a pretty wimpy Alacrity. Only 2
Yeah, the attack
points.
speed makes a huge difference.
Oh yes, of
Especially
course.
when you have face boots.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any attack speed items outside of drums, which doesn't count. And I guess a bit from the Orchid.
So, we've got a nice smoke coming around, and this could be the nail in Arcade's coffin, or if they can turn it around with their own smoke. But we're gonna see the loop.
That was literally on the edge.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But if they run
But now
uphill...
they will run into each
no,
other, I
they
think.
haven't yet. There's a blink forward. They're going for the Roshan. They know that it's up on the lineup of Arcade. If they sneak this is huge. And L could
come
check
on,
it.
check.
L could just fly over with that Arctic Bone, but he doesn't go for it. And the Roshan was
God.
actually being checked by the Forge Spirit, which is going to get destroyed. Ring of Aquila on the deck, but a big win for Arcade. Yes, their lanes are pushing in. Oh, here comes Doom, though. And this may just be an Aegis immediately going down. Barish has the cheese. He doesn't have the Aegis, and he is going to fall here. Winter's Curse, people poking away at him, and the Doom, I think, a bit too much. There might be the deny at the very least, but that isn't good enough, and they don't even get the deny. The Omni Slash, it looks like it was stopped immediately, but the return Doom for Big Num, this is why you Doom him instead, and they will be able to punish him, but Doom still doomed up.
That's game.
No Templar
buyback from
Assassin.
TA.
You think they'll just take the tier 4s here? Do you think we're over?
Well, they can Rax or tier 4s. There's 50 seconds without TA. And Rubik doesn't have one either, but they don't know about that one, so they should
Is under attack.
count that he should maybe be here, but they don't care.
Yeah, and they're going in hand. There is going to be the Omni Slash coming out. It wasn't actually used before. J4, he is going to shallow grave himself, but he may still take a lot of damage. They aren't attacking the real Tron. Exotic Deer actually going to take a bunch there, and now the Disarm coming out, but Tron, he still has Lances. He's just going to go down here. He doppelgangers away that the Splinter Blast going to burn that Aegis. He has a secondary life. Let's see what he can do, but instead, Arcade, they just GG out, and Alternate, no one expected it, but they 2-0 this set.
After the first game, I was pretty confident seeing they'd be well in the second as well. And see, they know. Tiebreaker action.
Oh,
I hope
yeah.
you're right on that, otherwise it would look really bad.
Yeah, they're definitely...
We don't want to give people false hope.
100%. So, yeah, we are right on that because now we have 3 teams at 1-2, and of course Alliance in this group was 3-0. So there will be some tiebreaker action. Not sure when that will be scheduled for, but we do have a few days in between, which may be when tiebreakers are played. Either way, very exciting stuff, folks. Once again, I'm Llama Down Under. I'm joined by PqMz. You can see my name right here in the top right corner, as is PQ's. He doesn't have the social media, but we would both love feedback on how to get better at casting, so please feel free to leave us feedback on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook at Llama Down Under. And there's